Okay.
Welcome, war survivors, extremely long-lived dimensional engineers, and oh crap, is that Tim Shaw? This is episode 285 of Unearthly podcast, streaming live on the 12th of December, 2018, and featuring the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos by Chris Chibnall, and starring Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, Tosin Cole as Ryan Sinclair, Mandeep Gill as Yasmin Khan, and Bradley Walsh as Graham O'Brien. I am Randy Ronson McCulloch, your host for this evening. And with me on the panel tonight is our technical director, Mad Matt Winchell.
The title of this episode is totally not going to be shortened to the Battle of Kolos in like 5 minutes.
Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
Merry Christmas, everyone!
And Thomas Fireheart.
As much as I want to say the Die Hard line, I think I'd probably butcher it, so I'm not going to.
Bill Sylvia, the Man in Black, is not with us tonight. He is away writing term papers, which is odd because he told us that he wouldn't need to last week.
By Die Hard line, I assume Yippee Yal Callier.
Wow, you butchered that, Matt.
I even butchered it, yeah. It's been a while.
Yippee Ki-yi-yay.
Yippee Ki-yi-yay, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So how have your week been, guys?
Not bad.
Not bad. You're going good?
Full of salt. No, literally, the driveway is full of salt.
I got annoyed again by the DMV.
Oh no.
I had to pay my registration today. Wasn't far to get in, but last time I had to pay the registration on my car, it was $70. This time it was over 100.
I was gonna say, let me guess, it suddenly jumped over 100 in the last couple of years, didn't it?
Well, they changed how it works. It used to be a flat rate, and now they charge per wheel.
Raise eyebrow.
Yeah, it's $27 per wheel, which makes your average car $108 to get your license plate renewed.
This sounds like excuses just to rob people of money at this point.
However, if there was ever a reason for an American to get a Reliant Robin, this is probably it. And those are like, oh God, I wouldn't even want to try to drive one of those.
Is that one of those three-wheel things?
Yes.
I think I've seen people try to race those in Grand Theft Auto, and it's terrible.
They used to occasionally play with those on Top Gear.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Clarkson couldn't drive one in a straight line without crashing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's.
I believe the exact quote from these guys trying to race in those things on Grand Theft Auto was, "Watch what I'm about to do," and immediately suddenly swerve in the opposite direction and hit a wall.
Yeah, they're horrible little things. So yeah, other than that, most surreal driving experience ever. I just put struts on my car for apparently the first time since I've owned it. So I've driven it for freaking 8 years with no suspension. The thing is, you get used to feeling every bump on the road.
And now it no longer feels like a bouncy castle?
It feels dull. Like somebody injected you with anesthetic. Like gave you a local anesthetic and then told you to drive this car. And what's worse is we fixed the control arms on the steering wheel so that the steering is tighter. So I'm not having to overcorrect so much. The problem is I've been driving it for so long that's built into my instincts. So all of my muscle memory is doing this, and if I'm doing that, I'm going to almost wreck the car. So
be careful now.
I don't feel right, and it's not behaving like it's supposed to. So yeah, I'm getting used to it now, but yeah, the first few times I drove it was like, oh my God, what's wrong?
It's not wrong, it's right. But what's wrong is what your brain thinks it should be doing.
Exactly.
Which means he did his job very well then, apparently. Your new mechanic.
He made a mistake.
Oh.
While apparently they had to take off the front axle to seal up a leak in the transmission,
Mm-hmm.
which is working better now, by the way. When putting the tire back on, he broke one of the wheel rotation sensors.
Oh.
So now,
Now I got to
my
get that
dashboard
fixed.
has like the slip control light is on, the ABS light is on, all these emergency lights are on. But he is going to fix that for
Okay.
free because he broke it.
He admits it's an accident. He'll fix it up pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke.
Yeah, it was just, and then he's going to also, while he has it in, he's going to adjust the alignment. That's next Saturday. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. On tonight's show, we've got news and birthdays.
All of the
Geek-
birthdays.
I don't think we have anything serious for Geek Talk. If we need filler, I've got a couple of old things I just rewatched that we can talk about.
Mm-hmm. I also have a couple of trailers, stuff for Netflix, video games that are coming up that would be of interest and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Episode summaries, our review, final thoughts, and ratings. So let's go on to birthdays, shall we?
Yep.
Because we have a lot of these.
So the top
This
of the
is
list.
apparently the golden freaking week for Doctor Who birthdays.
One of them. We seem to have like two or three of them.
6th of December, and the birthday of Noel Clarke, who played Mickey Smith from 2005 to 2009. He turned 43.
And going by the photo I saw that I'm assuming is either from this year or at least very recent, he has not aged at all.
He's barely aged, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed he aged a little when we saw him in Star Trek Into Darkness. But
only a
yeah, he
smidge.
hasn't seemed to age any since then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, on the 7th of December is the birthday of Wendy Padbury, who played Zoe Harriet from 1968 to 1969. Best known for her little spangly cat suit in a couple of episodes. She turned 71. The 8th of December is the birthday of Jenny Linden, who played Barbara in Doctor Who and the Daleks, the 1965 movie with Peter Cushing. She turned 79. The 9th of December has two birthdays. One is Eric Soward, the writer and script editor from 1982 to 1986. He turned 74. Also the same day is the birthday of Waris Hussein, the Doctor Who's first director, who directed from 1963 to 1964. He turned 80. The 10th of December sees the birthday of Anthony Coburn, one of Doctor Who's first writers, wrote An Unearthly Child in 1963. He would have been 91, but died in 1977 at 49. 11th December sees the birthday of Ben Browder, who played Isaac in A Town Called Mercy in 2012. That normally wouldn't be enough to get him on this list, but he did this other show. What was it called? Oh, yes, Farscape.
It was for Farscape.
What was it called? Stargate SG-1. So, yeah, he's kind of big in the geek community, and he turned 56. Also, that same day is the birthday of Richard Matthews, who played Rassilon all the way back in The Five Doctors in 1983. So, the original Rassilon.
Mm-hmm. The original on-screen Rassilon.
Yep, he would have been 104, but died in 1992 at the age of 77. Finally, today, the 12th of December, sees the birthday of Sarah Sutton, who played Nyssa from 1981 to 1983. She turns 57. And the final birthday on our list is Bill Nye. The British Bill Nye, not the American one, who played Dr. Black in Vincent and the Doctor from 2010, but is known as other roles, including Slarta Bartfist in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in 2005, and Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Oh, that was him? Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He turned 69. So happy birthday to Noel, Wendy, Jenny, Eric, Waris, Anthony, Ben, Richard, Sarah, and Bill. Freaking birthday marathon. Fortunately, this birthday is offset by us not having any lost stories.
Thank God.
Yay.
No
So
lost
let's-
stories since through Christmas. Yay!
So let's move on to
Knock on wood.
episode news.
Yes. UK overnight figures for the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos are in. According to the BBC, it was watched by 5.32 million people on TV in the UK, a gain of 250,000 from last week. This made it the fourth most popular show of the evening. ITV's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here once again took top ratings with 11.6 million. Strictly Come Dancing results show with 8.98 million viewers, David Attenborough's Dynasties, which had 5.94 million, and X Factor Final with 6.33 million. Doctor Who once again did not place in the weekly top 20.
Yeah. So, it is nice to see the overnight figures up slightly, because I
'Cause,
think
yeah,
this
we've
is
been
like
worried.
the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's been a sliding slope until this point, and it's like, oh, thank goodness.
Speaking of which, the finals are in for another episode.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. We have the Barb's official 4-panel ratings for It Takes You Away. Officially, 6.42 million people watched it, down about 8 million from the previous week.
0.8.
0.8, sorry. 6.24 million watched the episode on TV. An additional 77,000 watched on their PC, down 1,000. 55,000 watched on tablet, down 2,000. And 47,000 on smartphone, down 1,000. This was Doctor Who at the 22nd most watched program of the week, and an AI rating of 80, which is below average for Doctor Who.
Wow.
This makes It Takes You Away the new lowest watched episode this season, continuing the downward trend for the series.
It's also the first time this series that we actually had our overnights under 7 million. And I mean, this was a huge drop too. This was almost 1 million people did not tune in from last week to this week, which is kind of scary.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it goes down for the episode we're covering from what I've read somewhere.
This one, no, it went up slightly.
Overnight
they-
has gone up, but we'll see what the overall is later.
I'm basing on what I'm seeing. I suspect the consolidated and 4-screen are going to come out at about, I want to say, between 6 3/4 to just under 7, based on where the overnights generally are to where the consolidateds are. So it's still not going to be as good as episode 8, which for a finale is kind of an issue. Because usually there's an increase of about 1 million for the finale. But yeah, because the we have been regularly scoring above the most of the other eras with this season. With that drop into the 6s, we're starting to get like the beginning of the Moffat era scores.
Oof.
And if there's nothing that's going to really attract people for Series 12,
we could dip as low, if not lower than low end of Moffat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a concern. Because we started that high, but that high was also look, new Doctor high.
Yeah,
because
and
new
then apparently
Doctor
that burned away
always
fast.
attracts new watchers, and of course, it being
Which,
the first female Doctor attracted even more watchers.
which, if the BBC or at least Chibnall caring about the rating slip that we've had, that might actually explain something that we'll be talking about later.
Okay. Now, let's go to future episodes. We have a little more on the New Year's Day special. That's airing January 1st. The title is now Resolution. And we have a trailer and photos courtesy of the BBC. Not really going to watch the trailer so much on the air, but we can take a look at the photos.
Yeah, and the trailer is actually from what I'll say that I've seen of it, because I'm pretty sure I've watched it at least twice now. Thankfully, it's another thing that doesn't really give any, like, I remember there being rumors that, like, the Mirror was reporting, oh, it's gonna be Daleks or something.
I
Whether that-
saw that rumor, and I
Hmm.
immediately discounted it because the only reason that it was there was a sign that vaguely looked like a Dalek if you squinted enough, and it was a corporate logo.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's that's your so-called evidence. There's a Dalek. No.
Yeah. But yeah, like the trailer gives away nothing, basically. It gives away like the bare bonesness of the plot, but there's no like monster reveal or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
again,
And-
thankfully they're keeping it pretty close to the chest again. So
If it is the Daleks, I would actually be slightly disappointed. After all of his hype of no, we're not going to have any new monsters, I figured we'd see them all in season 12. They just take this time off and then come back at us with season 12 going, "Hey, look, we've got Daleks again."
I think the only way they'd get around it if it was Daleks is like, oh no, I just meant for series 11, like the special doesn't count or something like that.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of like crossing your fingers behind your back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. People in
So-
chainmail, car chases, explosions. Yeah.
Yeah. The only way the Daleks are going to be a threat again is if they take a little bit of time off instead of being the constant villain.
Yeah, which is actually one benefit. Like, as much as some people are like, oh, where the fuck are the Daleks? It's actually one benefit of there being no returning villains.
I wouldn't mind returning
that we've had
villains if they
before.
were not returning villains that we'd seen in a while. You know? Go back to classic Who and find some decent villains. See what we can do with an updated version of the Wern, you know? Something like that.
Yeah.
But don't make it the same villains all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, the Daleks should definitely be, like, once every other series, not like...
Once every other series or once a Doctor. When they showed up once a Doctor back in the classic series, that was always good. Because people would always tune in for the Dalek episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even if there were more than one, I'm pretty sure even the Doctors that ran to the Daleks more than once, after a while, it was more like, they'd have one... Yeah, like, there'd be, like, a decent gap, anyway, between Dalek adventures.
Tom Baker was the last one to run into the Daleks more than once. And he was a freaking 7-year Doctor. He ran into him his first season. And then he didn't run into him again until I think it was his 6th. Yeah, the beginning of his 6th season. So, yeah. That meant there was 5 years where there were no Daleks. And then Davidson didn't run into him until the end of his run.
And Colin Baker ran into him in the middle of his run, and I think Sylvester had him
in the middle of his run.
Yeah, I was going to say at the end of his run.
Middle of his run, because he had 3 years. They were in year 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Cybermen in the middle of his run, too.
Yeah.
That was the 25th season, so they had a whole bunch of classic monsters.
Of course.
The thing is, the Doctors would run into the Cybermen more than they run into the Doctors back in the 80s. I mean, Peter Davison ran into the Cybermen twice.
Spell checking? Yes.
Earthshock 5 Doctors.
Yeah. And then each Doctor after him would have at least one run with the Cybermen.
Yep. Colin ran into him once. Sylvester ran into him once. Tom Baker ran into them once.
And that was
probably the worst Cybermen episode, sadly.
And then,
which is also funny because it was like the first time since Patrick Troughton that anyone had run into them. Because
John Pertwee never
we didn't get them at all. Yeah.
John Pertwee never ran into the Cybermen. There's a reason for that, by the way.
Rights issues?
No, there were no rights issues. Mind you, the Cybermen were created because of the rights issues with the Daleks. Right before the writing of season 4, basically, Terry Nation came to Doctor Who and said, "Yeah, after this season, I'm taking the Daleks rights away from Doctor Who, and I'm going to try to ship them as their own series." And of course, this was a bit of consternation because the Daleks had been kind of a regular ratings grab for them.
They couldn't
And
convince him
so,
to not just leave, and he went to Hollywood, to which Hollywood then replied, "What the hell's a Dalek?"
yes, but that's
Pretty
neither
much.
here nor there because we're looking at this from the Doctor Who end of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were sitting, what the hell do we do? And Gary Davis and Kit Pedler sat down and they wrote the Cybermen for the 10th Planet and then brought them back in the moon base. And they were caught on popular enough that they became the recurring second Doctor baddie until the invasion. Well, the invasion's also the episode that introduced Unit, which, when the third Doctor regenerated, became Unit's thing, or became the main thing that he was involved in. Also, of course, when the third Doctor took over, they cut the season length in half to partially offset the cost of going to color, and partially so that the Doctor wasn't wearing out so fast, which is one of, I think, Troughton's complaints.
Yeah, that was Troughton's number one big complaint, was that he just was running ragged.
Either way, while the production team knew about it, the writing staff hadn't gotten that clue because the episode count for some of the episodes was still going into the 7 to 10 range. So there were only 4 serials that first season. So there was literally no time for Cybermen, and people couldn't figure out what they would do with the Cybermen, which wouldn't just be Invasion Take 2. So the Cybermen were put on the shelf. The next season of Doctor Who introduced the Master and became all about the Master. The Master was the bad guy in every single episode. So there wasn't any room for Cybermen or anything else. And it was the season after that Terry Nation came back with his tail between his legs and said,
I'm willing to write one.
I'll let you have the Daleks back and I'll write an episode for it, which is how the Daleks came around. And of course, that was immediately a ratings grab. So they had him commission another one for a later season. And so it became the Cybermen were basically forgotten about until the 12th series came along. And it's like, well, we want Don Baker to fight a whole bunch of classic monsters. So we'll have the Daleks and we'll have the Sontarans. And what else should we have? What about the Cybermen? Ooh, we haven't done the Cybermen in a while.
We don't have the budget to actually make new suits. We'll just repurpose the old ones. Okay. Don't.
Well, they weren't bad suits. They just hadn't been very well taken care of.
No.
And they forgot to actually redo their audio.
Yeah, and they also forgot to up the audio and the acting. But anyways, yeah, we've been rambling.
Okay, so the other future episode news is the BBC has now officially stated that Doctor Who will not be returning to our screens until March 2020.
Oh.
Meaning
that's later than I heard.
Worley, what did you heard?
January.
Spring 2020 is basically March is the beginning of. It's their official statement is spring, but generally speaking, when the Doctor Who production staff says spring, that means March. It usually means Easter.
Okay.
This means if they do turn it in January, it'll be a pleasant surprise. But the official statement is spring 2020. This means that we will see nothing aired in 2019 unless they make a holiday special. Jodie Whittaker is slated to return as the Doctor in Series 12. This does squash all those rumors that Who would return in October of next year, and makes all the rumors about it being Jodie and Chris's last seasons lose a lot of their credibility since they all came from that same source article.
So yeah, that does put a kibosh on a couple of rumors, although there's still probably some lingering doubts, but we'll see. But for sure, next season we still get some more Jodie, and it's going to be in 2020.
Yeah, and as I was seeing someone point out, at least it's not really... Ultimately, given when this series aired, it's not much of a delay, really, because rather than, between October and December, we're just getting it, a couple months after that, instead of having to wait until
It's
an
a year.
entire year after.
It's a year and a half.
Mm.
Based on starting season to starting season.
Yeah.
So
Like
you
we're not
consider
waiting 2 full years at least.
correct.
Unlike with somebody else.
Or we're not doing half a season, waiting a year, and then doing another half season.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's our episode news. We now go to award news.
Yes, the awards. I love awards. Doctor Who has won 2 awards from Twitter's I Talk Telly Awards, winning the Best Returning Drama category and Best Newcomer for Mandip Gill as Yaz. Well, at
Okay,
least someone recognizes Yaz.
I can understand the first one,
Yeah.
the best returning drama category. Mandeep Gill is best newcomer. I don't know.
That's going to be a hard sell because they really haven't given her much.
Yeah, I've not been that impressed with Yaz because she hasn't been given much to do besides basically stand behind the Doctor for most episodes.
Also, this isn't like her first role or anything. Like, probably first, this would be like the most prolific thing she's done, I'm assuming. But like, so I guess that's where they're coming from. But yeah,
Yeah,
like she's not a bad actress. She just hasn't been given much to work with.
Yeah.
I
Which
mean,
again is why I think it's a hard
they've
sell. There might be another actress that takes it.
They've been trying to set up like a Dr. Yaz relationship, but it's really been taking a back burner to Ryan and Graham.
Yeah, which is why I do hope that I don't want any of the companions to die because we've had enough of that crap. I want people to leave the TARDIS.
Since when were since when did the companions die lately?
No, I don't mind if a companion dies.
I just don't want them to tease it.
As long as it's permanent, yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Graham dies, which I mean, it would not really surprise me. I would hope it's permanent and it's not like the Moffat thing of, oh, but actually.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
No, take it freaking seriously if you're gonna do it.
Adric died. He stayed dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Kingdom died. She stayed dead. Anyone died in the Moffat era, they're not quite dead.
They're just off in another time zone, or they combined themselves with a weird alien entity that goes see the universe. How you join my cogni?
Yeah, I guess generally my point is like outside of permadeath, I'd like, you know, it'd be nice to actually have some companions leave the TARDIS other than like Martha. Who's like the only one who's been allowed to leave willingly.
Oh, I'm not saying that every single companion departure should be a death.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, you know, there should be, though, when a companion dies, death should be permanent.
Yeah.
As a reminder that being with the Doctor is freaking dangerous.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's that situation where there's no choice but death. The Kobayashi Maru kind of thing.
Yeah. And like if we're gonna lose a companion out of the 3 we have now, Graham would make the most sense because he's the most fleshed out. So he's the most was like, yeah, we've done about all we can with him. We can afford to lose him compared to the other 2.
Yep, because then you could have the kind of Orion and Yaz character development arc. And because, you know, they were friends in school and there's still that common ground there that really hasn't been explored other than, I think, one freaking scene.
Maybe 2, but yeah. They haven't really actually fleshed that out any further.
I think it like maybe 2 scenes, but they were both in Rosa anyway, so.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to get them together and conversing and give them some of the time that they've been giving for Ryan and Graham, because Graham's arc is done.
Basically.
Functionally with this episode. Anyway, let's move on from that to our audio news.
Yep, okay, with the Series 9 soundtrack out only a few months back, and the Series 10 soundtrack not even announced, Silver Screen has already announced the Series 11 soundtrack will be released on the 11th of January. Post by Segun Akinola. Sorry if I butchered that. The set will contain 41 tracks on 2 CDs. Disc 1 seems to hold the tracks from The Woman Who Fell to Earth, Ghost Monument, Spiders in the UK, Saranga Conundrum, Kablam, and the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. Disc 2 seems to be more of the historicals, with tracks from Rosa, Demons of the Punjab, The Witchfinders, It Takes You Away, and We Assume Resolution. Series 11 soundtrack is available for pre-order now for £9.99 on Amazon UK from Amazon UK and $12.99 US from Amazon.com.
I did forget to check Amazon Australia, but I bet it's there too.
Might be.
Most likely.
Amazon Australia is kind of weird though, so it wouldn't surprise me if it isn't.
All right. This takes us down to our Big Finish news. And the first piece of news is the last 2 audios in the Doctor Who main range for 2019 have been released. First off is Muse of Fire with the 7th Doctor, Ace, and Hex, as well as Iris Wildtime. Yay. Taking place in the 1920s Paris, Iris runs a salon and is about to meet the art critic Panda. Secondly is the 6th Doctor solo adventure, The Hunting Ground. The Doctor travels to Iceland and becomes the suspect in a murder investigation. Joining forces with Inspector Yrsa Christiansdottir, the Doctor tracks down an alien hunting humans for sport. Muse of Fire and The Hunting Ground are available now from Big Finish for £14.99 CD or £12.99 download. Also out now is Early Adventures, The Crash of the UK 201, starring Maureen O'Brien and Peter Purvis. In it, Vicky finds herself, who's Maureen O'Brien, of course, finds herself after a long time traveling with the Doctor, waking up on her cabin on the UK 201, the ship that crashed when she was found by the Doctor, Ian, and Barbara. Realizing it's a few days before the crash, she realizes she's gone back in her own timeline and must decide whether to try to save the ship and her friends and family, or let time stand as she remembers it. The Crash of the UK 201 is available now from Big Finish for £14.99 CD, £10.99 download. And God, isn't that like the plot of every fan fiction I've ever read?
Can I save it? Can I change time? Oh no.
All right. And then we have one piece of coming soon news.
Consequences. Yes. Coming soon. Series 6 of The Diary of River Song will be out soon, and River will cross paths with the first 4 Doctors. But will she actually meet them? An Unearthly Woman by Matt Fenton will have River meet the original TARDIS team, played by Jamie Glover as Ian Chesterton, Gemma Powell as Barbara Wright, and Claudia Grant as Susan.
It's interesting. Hold on a second. We'll have you go on in a second. It's interesting to note those names because that's essentially the Adventures in Time and Space First Doctor crew. I actually looked that up. So that would mean that if the Doctor's in there, it would be the Doctor that we last saw in what was
David
Capaldi's
Bradley.
David Bradley. Yeah.
David Bradley.
Twice Upon a Time. That's
yeah. It would be the Twice Upon a Time First Doctor. So, but there has been no news that he's in it. So I just wanted to point out that that's the crew that they seem to be working with for that.
Of course, it could be that they're just avoiding him anyways because, don't cross the time stream.
We don't know. That seems to be the will they or won't they seems to be the theme of this.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Tim.
The Web of Time by John Dorney will see River Song in the London Underground during the events of the Web of Fear, looking for a lost painting. Peep Show by Guy Adams sees River stuck in a battle between Ogrons and Centaurans.
And can I state my own theory for that one?
Sure thing.
By the name Peep Show, I'm suspecting it's in the Third Doctor episode Carnival of Monsters. where there is something the Third Doctor describes as an interstellar peep show, which
There
is
is
this device
logic
that
in what you
basically
say.
sucks people and creatures into it, because the Doctor winds up on a boat that
Keeps rewinding,
was,
yeah.
Yep. So I'm suspecting that's the era, but I'm not certain. That's my personal theory. Go ahead.
Okay. And The Talents of Greel by Paul Morris has River in Victorian London trying to discover what is making performers vanish, which leads her to the Palace Theatre and Henry Gordon Jago.
And if you can't think of what episode that involves,
Face
you
palm.
don't know
Then
your
get
fourth
out.
Doctor.
Out, out, out.
Right. The Diary of River Song Series 6 is available for pre-order now for £25 CD, £20 download. It is scheduled to be released in August 2019.
Series 7 is scheduled to release in January 2020, by the way. According to them, but there's no news on what's in that one yet.
We shall see.
Okay. Well, we're still 20 minutes before we normally transfer. We're out of news. We have nothing really new for Geek Talk. I've been catching up on old stuff. Stuff that I haven't been able to see because my Netflix has been dead for ages. I just watched Voltron Series 7, which I'm convinced that the writers forgot which 80s anime they were supposed to be cribbing notes from. Because suddenly the entire series takes kind of a Robotech bent, or a Macross bent, if you know the Japanese version. And it kind of like, I started to see parallels, and then they just became more and more obvious as the show went on. Series 8, or this 8th season of Voltron Legendary Defender, comes out on Friday. So I'll have something to talk about next week.
I have been watching some trailers for things, if we are interested in covering those quick.
Well, hold on a moment.
Unless there's something else.
Yeah, there was. I've also, while watching Netflix, was catching up on last year's season of Legends of Tomorrow. And can I just say that show is still fun. Of all the CW shows, it's the one that it seems to not take itself seriously and enjoy itself the most. From the episode they did with Elvis Presley, to saving Barack Obama from Gorilla Grodd. They have fun on that one, and that's an enjoyable one to watch. Even if you think all the other ones are too emo, that one is the one that's just way too much fun. That's really all I had to say, Matt.
Okie doke. So, if no one else has anything else?
Not really. Plus I need to head off in about now, so.
Alright, so really quick
I'd
then.
be fine with us moving along.
Trailer for a game called Atlas came out during the Game Awards. It's made by, I believe it's the same people behind Evolve, but it's less like Evolve and more of a fantasy pirate game. It does feature base building. It does feature making your own pirate ships, but also features land, sea, and air battles against dragons, hydras, and krakens, and God knows what all else. So it's just this crazy, interesting MMO style game, and apparently servers can hold up to 4,000 people or 40,000. I forget how many it said, but it was this massive amount of people. And it's supposed to be really big, so it's kind of scratching an interesting notion in the back of my head. Like, this might be interesting to try. I'll see how much it costs when it releases, and apparently it's supposed to release in the next couple of days. It actually was a surprise announcement at the game show. Also mentioned during the game show, the Outer Worlds made by Obsidian Entertainment, will be releasing for PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC. And a lot of people have been comparing it to Fallout in space.
Oh yeah, that's the one made by the people who made the original Fallout.
The Obsidian consists of people who made the original Fallout as well as Fallout New Vegas. Yes. New Vegas, however, there's some flaws I have with that thing, but I think I've heard both A, I should have leveled up more, which I was in a hurry to get through the game. Oh well. And 2, it was a rush job that Bethesda forced them into in under 6 months, I think. So the fact that it turned out as well as it did is amazing. So we'll see what they can do when they're given all the time in the world.
I guess just to throw a very quick thing in there, I saw purely on a whim because someone had retweeted it. There's a trailer out or a teaser or whatever for Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Actually, that was actually something I was going to get to as well next. So might as well go into that.
Yeah, that was something that I don't know. Like, I liked the 2014 Godzilla, and I really liked Kong Skull Island. And this is like the last movie before those two intertwine.
Yeah, this is supposedly going to be the last movie before their new version of Godzilla versus King Kong. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went from someone who doesn't even really know much about the Godzilla franchise, I went from someone who was like, oh, I'll probably see that when it comes out. I watched that trailer and I was like, okay, yep.
So this is the newest trailer that you saw? Or was this the older one?
I think so. It was like
Did they show a close-up of Mothra?
On Twitter, like, yeah.
Yeah, because if they showed the clear close-up of Mothra, that's when I just saw 2, and that officially run me over. Because I saw some designs for Mothra, and it's like, I guess. But now that we saw an actual clear up-close picture of Mothra, it's like, oh my god, it is classic Mothra, but updated. Yes, I'm in. They showed clear shots of all the monsters. King Ghidorah's in there, Mothra's in there, Rodan is in there, and obviously Godzilla's in there. And they've even done some tweaks on Godzilla himself. The scales on his back are a little bit better. They apparently redefined his feet a bit. Rodan is a fire monster as well as a sonic G-force monster that can knock buildings over with just flying. And King Ghidorah, you can actually see the electricity charging up through his neck as he's getting ready to attack. So that was kind of a cool effect. Just a lot of really good stuff in that trailer. And yeah, I plan to, by the release of King of the Monsters, I plan to possibly review Godzilla 2014 and Skull Island before that movie hits. So we'll see. It does look interesting. And there was one other trailer. Oh! Yes, Netflix is getting an Ultraman series.
Oh.
So for those who don't know, Ultraman is a giant superhero show from the 60s, made by the same the guys who did the special effects for all the Godzilla movies from the 50s and 60s into the 70s. This is that guy making his own show. Was originally Ultraman, and this is actually going to be a direct sequel to the original, and it's based on a manga that was made in 2011. This is going to be completely animated. And it's based around the son of the original Ultraman. He, as far as I can tell, he's going to remain normal human size the entire show, but he also gets a super powered, like, armored suit that is very reminiscent of his father when he went huge. And he's going to be fighting crime, and apparently also, according to some of the dialogue hinted in the trailer, he might be trying to rescue his father.
Oh wow! One of the companies involved with that is the company that did Ghost in the Shell.
Yep.
standalone complex and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's Production IG.
Speaking of both of them in AC, is the fact that Netflix.
Oh,
has
that's
got
right.
the
Netflix
rights
is also
to
picking up Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah, the new Ghost in the Shell series.
which is also being produced by Production IG.
Yes, because it's SAC like 2042 or something.
It's
2045,
supposed to be
something like that.
it's supposed to be a direct sequel to Standalone Complex.
Yep.
So
Supposed to be, I think,
they're
like,
just
third or
cracking it
fourth.
right now. We'll see what they're up to.
Yeah, Netflix also got the rights to the classic anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, which has been in limbo since 2010. So
I can't remember if it was mentioned or not, but the guys behind Castlevania have not gotten the rights to Devil May Cry, and they're going to release that on Netflix
wow.
as well.
Well, yeah, Netflix is, I think, very happy with how Castlevania's been going.
Oh yeah,
It's been making them some money.
it's been turning heads because someone's doing something good with that IP right now.
Yeah,
not like Konami's doing anything with it.
I know, it's like Konami needs to get its act together and actually start like releasing side-along games.
Yeah,
Like,
Konami's in a really
like,
weird state because they suddenly wanted to go purely pachinko and sports games, and now they're suddenly regretting it. But apparently, when they went purely pachinko, Japan started a new tax on pachinko machines. Yeah, that bit Konami real hard. Suddenly Konami's just like, oh wait, this doesn't make all the money anymore.
Yeah, well, pachinko had been a side-along way of quasi-legal gambling. Because, I mean, the way it was supposed to be is, you would get the balls and the winnings, and you were able to turn the winnings in for prizes. But there was always a little shop right next to the pachinko parlor where you could turn the prizes in for cash. So you basically play for money.
That's
society that
actually
usually...
legit what they did in the first Pokemon game. I forget which city that was.
Well, yeah, that was basically them parodying pachinko.
And I think you had to do that to get a couple of Pokemon you couldn't get in either game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was the only way you could get Porygon, if I'm
originally,
remembering that right.
Yep, and that was what they did in Red and Blue and all the Red and Blue remakes. I have no idea if that still holds true in the Let's Go series.
With the Let's Go series,
actually,
I'm not sure.
No. Let's Go. They got rid of it. Let's Go. They got rid of that element.
Yeah, probably because there was a backlash against gambling.
Yeah, I think it's also just a sense of like, because it's aimed at a younger audience. It's basically like the kiddie version of Gen 1.
Well,
the even more kiddie version of
I was going to
Gen 1, because I think that was already aimed at kids. I was playing that in middle school.
Oh, yeah. But I just mean, like, the more blatantly aimed at kids.
It's more blatantly, it's an even younger audience, technically, yeah.
Yeah. I just generally like a much more casual audience.
By the way, SAC 2045 will not be out until 2020. So...
Yeah, I think Ultraman is their big release for 2019.
Other than Punisher, which is in January or February, and Jessica Jones, which is later that year, and I'm expecting them both to get canceled.
As soon as they release, yep.
Like the week after they're released.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's most of the stuff I wanted to mention really quickly covered. It's been an interesting week for releases.
Yep. Like I said, I expect to see all the Marvel stuff just suddenly go to Hulu.
It will once those rights roll over.
Yep. Oh.
So are we ready for the stopwatch?
I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I wanted to say? Because there's like still 10 minutes to kill. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, I'm still waiting for any further news on Cyberpunk 2077. Which is due out by CD Projekt Red, but they haven't listed the release date yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the release date, but I have seen some of the footage from it, and it looks good.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks absolutely drool-worthy.
You have to literally shoot through walls and attack people from holes in the wall and stuff. Yeah, it's nuts what they're doing with that game.
Yeah. Both my regular GM Bob and myself have been watching this one avidly and drooling. Cyberpunk is one of our it was one of our bread and butter games back in the 90s. And recently we started a new Cyberpunk campaign. At least or a limited run campaign on Mondays. And God, that's just back in the old town again kind of feeling.
All I can assume is there probably isn't a release date yet because they don't want to fall into the same trap a lot of other companies have in the past couple of years where they've been like, yeah, it's going to be out in 2018, and it's 2018 and the game still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, they announced this in 2012.
I think it was just shortly before they announced that The Witcher 3 was a for sure thing in the next year or so.
Mm-hmm. They released a teaser trailer for it in January 2013, and yeah, we've been eagerly watching it since then. And the teaser trailer said when it's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we figured that meant 2015. Well, it's now 2018. We still haven't seen it.
2018, I think just this year they finally stopped adding any more add-ons to The Witcher, so that would mean to me that CD Projekt is probably going full blast on Cyberpunk now at this point.
One of the reasons that it's been a big thing for me is the fact that Mike Pondsmith, the man that created the original Cyberpunk 2020 tabletop game, and somebody I've met at a Gen Con many years ago, actually is consulting with them on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's giving them input, and he's also possibly helping them write the background for what's happened since the last version he made.
Yeah, I really want this game. I want it badly. Once I get it, I'm probably getting it for PlayStation and PC. Just because.
Just to be on the safe side.
Just so that when PlayStation's eventually replaced by the PlayStation 5, I'd have to go, oh, I don't have Cyberpunk 2077 anymore.
Oh, wait, no, bring over my laptop.
Oh, just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those games I want really, really badly. I've been looking forward to it for years. And it's just I loved Cyberpunk back in the 90s. And before that, I was a Shadowrun player, which is basically Cyberpunk with elves and magic, and orcs and trolls and what have you. Cyberpunk just basically was pure bread and butter Cyberpunk, which is what I really liked. So, and between 1996 and 1999, Bob ran an ongoing campaign for ages. And then we would do side campaigns. This is why I never graduated from college, by the way. It's because we spent all of our time in the caf at lunch playing Cyberpunk. So yeah, it's a big portion of my life. So I have to see this game come out. I have to have it. All right. It's quarter after. That's close enough.
Yep, we're close enough. Let's get going. So stopwatch.
Stopwatch.
Whose turn is it to go?
I believe, Tim, you did last time, yes?
No, I was last week, and I forget who was the week before that.
And I think I was the week before that, if I'm mistaken. So
actually, yeah, because it was down to you and me, and you went, and then I went last week. So
it's Tim and Randy.
Oh. What was the last one you remember doing, Tim?
The last one I remember doing is Arachnids in the UK.
Okay, you can go then, because I know I did one after that.
All right, so Tim.
Sounds like
all right.
I will
whenever you are ready.
Special.
Yes, this is. I'm going to refresh my memory because I literally just watched the episode before we started broadcasting. All right, so a man and a woman are on a planet, and the woman says, "Do the thing," and the man says, "What if I fuck it up?" And the woman says, "Have faith, do the thing." And so his eyes glow, and rocks come together, and then something appears, and then we get a title card saying 3,000 something 407 years, I think, is the number. number later, and the Doctor is in the TARDIS with Graham, Yaz, and Ryan, saying, we found 8 different distress signals from this planet, all from the same area of this planet. How intriguing. What's the planet called, Doctor? It's called Ranskoor of Kolos. Oh, that's nice. It means the destroyer of souls. It's like, oh, that's less nice. Yeah, it's a planet that'll like feed on your mind and like make you feel feelings very powerfully, and it'll drive you mad. But first, wear these cool little things on our heads, and that'll block out the mind power things. Like, do we really have to go here? No, we don't have to go here. But if we didn't, it'd be a stupid episode, wouldn't it? Yeah, your logic is found, Doctor. So let's go. No. So the TARDIS materializes on the planet, and it's a spaceship, and they meet this guy named Patro something.
Paltraki.
Paltraki. Yes, My mind is okay. Paltraki is the guy. They meet. And Paltraki is like, "Who are you? Where'd you come from? Are you them? Are you with them?" And the Doctor says, "No, we just got here. We're trying to help. I'm the Doctor. This is Graham, Ryan, and Yaz. Yes. Here, why don't you put this thing on your head? It'll make you think clearer." Okay, like. So the Paltraki says, "I came here to find something. But then Paltraki gets a message from a person on the ship saying, gets a message from another person on the planet saying, give back the thing that you stole from the creator. And the Doctor and her companions recognize who the creator is. It's our old nemesis, Timshaw. And they're all like, "Wait, didn't we kill that guy?" And the Doctor says, "We have to get to the bottom of this." And Graham is like, "I'm gonna kill that bastard dead. I'm gonna kill him so hard, he's gonna die from it." And Doctor says to Graham, "I hope you're not thinking of killing Timshaw." He's like, "Yeah, I am. What are you gonna do about it?" He's like, "Don't you kill Timshaw, or I will be very disappointed in you. And you can't travel with me anymore." There, yeah. And so Graham is like, "Oh, you can't tell me what to do." Fine. It's like, so they go to a building where Timshaw has basically duped the 2 people from the beginning of the episode into being his slaves and thinking he is the creator of their religion, of their myth. And so like Fred and Scooby-Doo, the Doctor decides to split the gang up for the mission. Paltraki and Yaz go off to I forget what they did, but anyway, so one team goes off to rescue Paltraki's crew that was captured by Timshaw, and the Doctor goes off to figure out what's up with the thing that Paltraki had stolen from the creator, or actually the creator had stolen it from Paltraki. Is like it's the MacGuffin that everyone wants, and so Yaz and Paltraki meanwhile find 5 more things, and it turns out that here's the big thing: Tim Shaw has been forcing these 2 people from the beginning, who are called the Ogs, I believe is the word.
I think it's
Ux.
The Ux. The Ux. To use their phenomenal mental powers to shrink planets and steal them. And the Doctor is like, you can't have so many planets on one planet. It'll cause it'll be bad. Good. But thankfully, we can use the power of the Ux and the TARDIS to help put the planets back to where they should be. So the Doctor and the Ux put the planets back. Paltraki is reunited with his crew that was captured by Tim Shaw, and Tim Shaw is at the mercy of Graham, but Graham says, "I'm the better man, so I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to lock you up forever and ever." So Tim Shaw gets placed in the stasis chamber that he was keeping the other people on the planet prisoner, and the Doctor says, "No one really knows what's out there. That's why we keep looking." Dun da da. The end.
7 minutes 32 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, it was a bit I didn't really have time to write down a full.
Memory lapses on names happen.
If it makes you feel any better, I had notes last week and it still took me about the time it took you to do this one.
All right, so Matt, you are first. It was going to be Bill, but of course Bill's not here.
And
What
he
did
has
you like
enough
about
notes.
this episode overall?
What did I like about this episode overall? I feel like we finally tied things up that we started in the first 2 episodes and haven't been touching on since.
Yeah, usually there's at least a middle episode that ties in, but no, it was just the first and the end here.
Yeah, we finally found out what happened to Tim Shaw and just ended his particular story at the moment, at least. Till someone stupidly blunders in and frees him by accident for some reason.
Well, they said that they sealed it so that nobody else could ever get in, but you know.
There's always someone who'll get in.
Yeah. Or at least, there's still the potential that he could somehow get out.
Yep. The season 23 where Tim Shaw is freed by the Master.
Or the Daleks, or the Cybermen, or he frees himself after spending enough time hacking the system from within. Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, but it'd be the Master to do something colossally stupid like that for a power grab.
That's true too.
Yeah. And of course, the funny thing is that gives at least one tick in the win column for Chibnall of, hey, something I introduced early in the series actually came back.
Yeah.
And we actually finished its story for the time being. Yay!
Although technically it was episodes 1 and 2, because remember they were mentioned in episode 2.
Yeah,
and then
some more of that stuff was mentioned in 2, and then
nothing.
Then nothing until now.
Episode 10. Yep. So, Tim, how about you? What did you like about this episode overall?
Overall, I liked Graham's performance in this episode. Like his interactions with the Doctor and also with Ryan, when they're both trying to convince him that this isn't what Grace would want.
Yeah.
Want in him trying to take revenge on Tim Shaw.
Don't tell the doc I shot him in the foot. She's gonna be cross with me.
It's like, there's
Yeah.
nothing worse than a cross doctor.
Mm.
Well, actually, that's true in some cases.
Yeah, the doctor is one of those people that you do not want mad at you for whatever reason.
Mm.
There is a picture of
Um.
every form of the doctor in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the words under it, "Do not mess with this person."
Seriously, do
Bolded
not
and
piss them
underlined.
off. That is the worst idea you could do.
You know, somebody made the YouTube video, The Hitchhiker's Guide to Daleks. I challenge somebody to go out there and make The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Doctor.
Would be amazing if they did.
Just
But
a
we'll
book
see.
entry. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All right. So, Thomas, how about you?
I'm pretty much piggybacking off of Tim's in that mine wasn't so much his performance specifically, so much as his overall arc in the episode.
Damn it.
From going, and I like the fact that, as well as like sort of playing into what Tim was saying as far as his acting and performing went, I love the fact that he was so nonchalant about the fact that he was like, I'm gonna kill him if I get the chance, and it wasn't like this like really overly angry thing, this over exaggerated thing.
I'm gonna kill him for what he did to Grace. Don't do that. If you do, you won't be able to travel with him anymore. I know.
I'm still thinking about it though.
Yeah.
Still thinking about
it. And it's also one of those things of why it's kind of funny, because suddenly it takes you away. Kind of has to be before this, because it's directly he's had an interaction with, at the very least, the memory of Grace. And now it's to this, and it's like, okay, I want that fucker dead, but it's also not like this big overblown thing.
I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna rip it. Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, he didn't hem it.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's just absolutely I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and even when he has to die. Yeah, and even when he decides not to, it's not this big emotional, oh, I can't do it, and he drops to his knees or something. It's just like, you know what? Screw it. You're not worth it.
It's not even a do I have the right moment.
Yeah.
And every Doctor Who fan should know what I mean by that particular one.
Yep.
Holding the wires with Sarah.
Moment, yes.
Holding the wires with Sarah behind them, yeah. Do I have the right?
I have to agree. I have to also piggyback on that. But my thing is, I like that the moral issue is a personal one rather than a general or social issue in this, because it makes a refreshing change. This is a man who basically finds out that the person that killed his wife is still alive, and basically says, okay, they have to die. And then is told by everybody it's a bad idea, and then has to make that moral choice and decides to let them face punishment rather than killing them. It's a personal issue.
Yeah.
And it's good to see one.
Actually, technically, there is a little bit of a social issue, but it's
Don't spoil this for me, Matt!
But here's the thing: it's about different ways of treating revenge. Because Tim Shaw went the other way.
Yeah.
True.
Tim Shaw went the other way, and he's facing punishment for it.
Well, he went beyond the other way. He's like, yeah, you...
I am a god. I shall get revenge. No.
I will take the world that you were fighting to save, and I will crush it. I'm going to freaking Thanos your world, bitch. Yeah.
You don't win. No. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, I feel like in literally any other Doctor's run, this would have been, he's staring him down with the gun, and the Doctor would have been there shouting at him the whole time not to do it and talking him down, as opposed to the Doctor has a conversation with him beforehand and then doesn't get to talk to him again.
Because there's just too much going on.
Mm-hmm. Because they're too busy saving the Earth and other planets at the moment.
So it's actually a stronger moment because he has to make the decision himself, as opposed to the Doctor yelling in his ear.
All right. So we go from what we liked about the episode to what we disliked. And Matt, you're first.
General thing I disliked. This is really nitpicky. But why did the special world that can be developed to be the big important thing in the universe have to be a rock quarry? Like I said, very nitpicky, but it's
Doctor
true.
Who has a budget.
Basically.
And they'd blown most of it by now.
They're like, okay, what can we use for this planet? Okay,
Put it over the planet of the universe, rock quarry.
We've been doing a lot of location filming. Gravel quarry. We've not one of those in a while.
Make sure it's about 5 feet more over this way. We don't want to bump into the Super Sentai group over there.
I'm pretty sure they're not filming in England, Matt.
I don't know if they have to do reshoots
Japan
for
has-
English.
Yes, I know, but Japan and the United States have their own gravel quarries. So do Canada, which is
actually,
probably where
the
Sentai
American
comes from.
version doesn't even film in America anymore. But anyway,
Where's it filmed?
mostly it's New Zealand.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't getting filmed in New Zealand either.
But it's getting closer.
It probably won't unless they finally get Peter Jackson to direct an episode.
Hop,
He
skip, and
still
a jump.
says he's interested, by the way,
Peter Jackson's interested in.
directing an episode of Doctor Who.
But
But of course, that was Moffat that wanted to get him. I'm not sure Chibnall cares enough.
Depends. Yeah,
Probably not.
we'll see.
All right. So, Tim, how about you? What did you dislike about the episode Serial?
I thought some of the switching back and forth between characters while they were each doing their thing was kind of handled poorly. In that, like, we switched from Graham and Ryan to the Doctor and Yaz doing, not the Doctor, Yaz and Paltraki talking and doing something, and then we switch back to Graham and Ryan, and like they're suddenly like have these devices to, like, they were trying to figure out how to open up the pods, and none is like, we sort of like, it's I felt like it glossed over like how they came to that conclusion to like do the thing, like it was like the episode didn't do that great a job of like balancing like each like jumping around. Sort of.
You think its cuts weren't done well?
Yeah, basically
Okay, that's a direction issue
direction
or a film editing issue. Either way, that's usually overseen by the director. All right, Thomas, how about you?
God. I guess just to be nitpicky, because I don't really have any like major things that I can think of off the top of my head. Just the typical like go-to if we don't have anything else is that Yaz is again just kind of there. She's not really serving much narrative purpose to be here aside from just so the Doctor's not talking to herself.
Basically, sadly.
Yeah, that's her purpose, is basically being the Doctor's sounding board, which has been a companion role in the past. What's this, Doctor? Yeah. Either that or a companion's purpose is to get captured. Doctor, right? Oh, I've been captured.
Or scream loud enough that monsters go away. Thankfully, it only happened a couple times.
A couple of companions were known for it, Victoria and Mel. A few other episodes, companions had screams, but that wasn't their thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so My least favorite, what I disliked about it was the whole concept of capturing planets and reducing them to basically the size of a football. It would have been an interesting had we not seen it in Doctor Who before.
I was gonna say it's very classic Who of it.
Yes, it is. Can anybody remember where we've seen this before? Here's a hint: Calufrax. Anybody?
I'm trying to remember. I know we've had similar
Yeah,
things.
I'm blanking.
I'm trying to. I'm
The-
blanking on names.
The pirate planet.
It was Pirate Planet. Okay.
Planet.
See,
They
I
would
remember
have-
they were.
I
I
haven't.
The
I
planet
think
was
that
a
was.
giant hollow shell. It would hyperspace.
Oh, that's right.
around
Actually, yeah, they
another
were using
planet.
it for the force field, the movement generator for the planet. Right.
Yep, and they were using it to the energy as some kind of device to keep the queen alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kept the
But-
queen alive, and I think it also helped the plant move, something to that effect. But yeah, there's multiple uses, but they were using the plants as generators in short. Yeah.
But it's that same thing. So the doctor going, this shouldn't be possible. This shouldn't happen. You've seen it before. Calufrax.
I guess at least to be fair, it's like been like God, how many
Over
doctors
1,000
between?
years. Yeah.
Does she need a fat guy with a sand scouter over his eye shouting Sky Demon at her to make her remember?
Or a mechanical hawk.
Mm.
Would also need a mechanical dog, but yeah.
Mr. Fibule! Yeah. Because I saw it, the second I saw it, I went, oh God, freaking Calufrax. It's like, it's right there on my mind. I'm like, holy shit.
Mm.
It's the pirate planet.
Granted, I guess at first she didn't realize that there were planets in there. It was like only like the last minute.
Oh no,
reveal.
no! When they revealed it, though, I'm like sitting here going, "Oh my God!" And her thought is, "This is impossible. You shouldn't be able to do this." And I'm like,
Thud.
Calufrax.
Yeah. That's where I think the writers failed, not so much the Doctor herself. If we're talking more real world, yeah, that's the writers going. Meanwhile, the fan base is like, "Oh, come on!"
I mean, it was
The only way it could be more obvious what this is a homage to is if you wrote Califrax on the machine itself.
Yeah, the thing is, when they did that kind of tongue-in-cheek thing for Capaldi's first episode, where he's going clockwork robots. Yeah, it's not coming to me. They're obviously making that reference without referencing it, They're lampshading it. They're tongue-in-cheeking it. Just the doctor can't remember it just because it's, he's fresh in his regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
This one is just brain fail.
Yeah. And the funny thing is I feel like if this was like a Moffat or a Gaddis episode, they absolutely probably would have made that reference.
Yes.
It would have been, wait a minute. I've seen this before. Wait, Calufrax. Yeah, it would have, come up. It would have been there.
At least I don't have someone shouting Sky Demon in my face, starts hitting switches.
Yeah, the reference would have been there. And the thing is, there were at least two references to previous New Who episodes.
Yeah, they mentioned a couple of things earlier too.
Yeah. Journey's End and Boomtown were both referenced.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, and you can't make the Calufrax reference? What the shit, man?
Boo.
Yeah. So that just kind of ate at me for the ending. Stupid ad. Okay. So that moves us on to our favorite scene.
Oh.
Matt.
Favorite scene. Gosh, gotta try and pick one.
Yeah, I know.
There's actually a lot of really good stuff in this particular episode, and it's just a matter of sorting out which one I want to go with right off the top of my head. I'll go with the doctor purposely trying to get herself noticed to go talk to Tim Shaw, and the reaction that gets out of the local woman. I can't remember her name. I can't remember either of the names right now.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Why has he seen me before? Yeah.
Yes, why hasn't he seen? Does he know me? Why has he seen me before? Bring her up.
All right. All right. Tim, how about you? Your favorite scene?
Off the top of my head, the thing that I like was Graham and Ryan finally doing the fist bump, followed
Yeah.
immediately by Graham saying, "Now what?"
Yeah, I saw a review of this episode with that picture and the title, "The Fist Bump Heard Around the World." Yeah,
I
that was.
happened. He called him Grandpa twice, and also said to him, "I love you." What? Don't make me repeat.
I mean, there's not much more you can do with these two in an arc at this point.
Yeah.
These adventures have officially brought them together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All right, Thomas, how about you?
I feel like there was something else I was gonna go with, but instead, I'm going to go with the doctor's conversation face to face with Tim Shaw.
God damn it! God the hell damn it!
That was another runner-up for me.
Cause yeah, it's like, I mean, for one thing, just like the joke right off the top of the thing where he says how long he's been gone, it's like 3,047 years or something like that. And she's just like, ooh, the 7 must have really dragged. And then just like stuff like that, but then like they actually get into the meat of it. And generally, I like that the doctor can fuck things up and it comes back, at some point to bite them in the ass and they have to solve the problem again or whatever. Like, Tom Baker fucking stuff up, and like even if it's like a story that we didn't see, like we did cover the
like
face of evil.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a case of a story that we've actually seen having consequences down the line. Yeah. That they have to deal with. Like, it's nice to have stuff like that, and this is like the scene that we get that in, where it's like, but like, you were doing that because you were probably trying to kill me or something, but fuck you. I've got a doomsday device now, so.
Yeah, mind you, I like that scene, but I love witty banter. And the doctor gets a bunch of it. Facing off with Tim Shaw, you look terrible, but me, new coat. I'm like. I'm like, when did we get into the Flash grade of banter?
Well, I think Tennant also did that a little bit.
Oh yeah. Tennant did it.
Me, new coat. I do like it.
McGann does it, and he also does the biting sarcasm, which I love. We saw quite a bit of that in Night of the Doctor. 7 minutes, that's forever. What if I get bored? I'm like,
give me some knitting. Does anyone want to play chess?
Knitting, give me knitting. Yeah, I'm like, oh god, that's great. It's one of the reasons I want to go back and listen to more McGann audios, because his sarcasm is just perfect. Let's see if I can come up with another favorite scene. I think it's when they're on their way there, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, and I borrowed a whole bunch of this stuff from your ship. Hope you don't mind." That was kind of a doctory thing to do.
And then like she brings up all like the explosives and shit, and Ryan's just like, "Well, wait a minute, weren't you against that?" It's like, "Oh yeah, no. So long as you're not trying to kill people with it, it's fine." Like,
but I was using them on robots. Yeah, but you were new. Yeah, that's a great bit of dialogue in there. I liked that. So we'll go with that. All right, what's your least favorite scene?
Oh gosh,
you're first.
There was a scene. I'm trying to remember what the scene was. It's been about a day since I saw this episode. But I just remember there was a scene that just made me groan for a moment and took me off it. I can't remember what it was right now. I'm trying to think of it, and it's just not coming to me. I'll have to pass for the time being until I can remember it.
All right, Tim.
Okay, so another scene that just made me feel bad. Not that it was a bad scene, but is where Graham says, "You killed my wife," and Tim Shaw was like, "Good." Well, fuck you, like for an evil person. It's like
You killed my wife. Prepare to die.
Yes, I was kind of waiting for that. Hello, my name is Graham O'Brien. You killed my wife. Prepare to die. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for that bit.
Yeah,
But I always wanted to say that. Yeah.
But just Tim Shaw's reaction, like, good, like that's it. It's like,
Yeah, talk about just boring, cheesy villain.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Well, I mean, like,
He is
I
rather
was,
one-dimensional for a villain.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I honestly didn't mind him just simply saying good because, like, I was expecting, like, this big over-the-top reaction. So the fact that it was actually kind of, like, subtle in that way, it would just be
For
like,
you,
oh,
it
good.
was the day you lost your wife. For me, it was a Tuesday. You were expecting the M. Bison cheese, and you just got good.
Mm.
He's still though he is still a bit one-dimensional.
Mm.
All right. Thomas, how about you for least favorite scene?
I feel like I might have had another one, and I think this might be the moment Matt was talking about, but it's only this very specific part of the scene. The rest of the scene is fine, like either before it or after it. But this one specific moment is just like, oh no, please don't let that be a regular thing. When the doctor actually like refers to them as fam, and then it's like, I thought
that
we
wasn't
weren't
it for
doing.
me, but yeah, that was a little bit cringy.
Yeah, and then like Ryan's like, wait, I thought we weren't doing that, and then Yaz is like, I love it, because like Yaz's reaction specifically of I love it or I like it or whatever was like, oh, please don't let that become a regular thing.
Yeah. No.
Like like it worked as a joke when she said it, and then was like, oh, that doesn't sound right. But like now that she seems to have settled into it, this is potentially what she's going to call them a lot. When it's like, just go with like team or something.
Team, gang, guys, whatever. Something, just not fam.
Yeah, especially because that's going to incredibly date itself.
Yes, it will.
Very quickly, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very 2010s thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Jeepers. Somebody says Jeepers now. You go, what the fuck?
Zoinks.
What rock have you lived under? It's like when you hear a show and somebody actually says lol. No.
Oh,
Yeah, that's your response. Oh God.
La 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 la.
Okay. So mine is one of the scenes between Graham and Ryan right before they're attacked by sniper bots. Ryan hears them. Graham's going on. Ryan says, "Shut up." He's like, "No, I won't." And then he goes, "Shut up." I'm like, seriously? You want them to shut up and you bellow it. Like,
I just remembered. I just remembered now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you done, Randy?
Yeah.
My scene is, I think, a little bit after that. because all of a sudden it just literally cuts to Graham moving away and turning around and going, that should slow him down after just barely seeing a close up of a door. And I couldn't even tell it was a door. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That completely threw me out of the episode for like several moments.
Yeah.
It's a nitpick, but it's just like a what the hell just happened? I feel like I just fast forwarded through something here.
Like, I can't remember if the implication is supposed to be that he shot the door.
I think he somehow shut the doors, but they don't show it very clearly, like at all, and I'm confused
Oh, yeah,
for several
like,
moments until we get a better shot of the doors.
He because like I feel like the idea is like he's supposed to have shot out the like controls.
The controllers or something. Yeah, he did a Star Wars on the controls
like,
for the door.
Yeah, I think they cut too early, or too late. So instead of having the shot, or at least one shot, you just kind of see him lowering the gun.
You just see him with the gun and going, that should slow him down. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Are you saying Graham shot first?
I'm saying that the editor shot down his shot, but yeah.
I had to ask. Just had to. All right, so now we are up to our final thoughts.
So back to me after I just finally remembered that scene. The only problems I have with this are very tiny nitpicks. So overall, this is a nice little closed capsule for the little bit of story that we wanted to have continued. It's nicely self-contained outside of the 2 previous episodes at the beginning of the season. We've officially finished the arc with Graham and Ryan. We got our Everyone Must Live episode for all the side characters, except for, I think, one. And Tim Shaw, as far as we're concerned, at least for the time being, is permanently out of the picture. And the TARDIS crew continues to go off venturing into space and time.
Okay. Was there anything more, Matt?
That's about it for me on this one. Overall good acting, overall decent effects, and a nice closer for some of the storylines.
All right. Tim?
Thought this was a very standard and the adventure continues type of season finale. There were some minor problems with the direction and the editing, but the performances were okay. Like I said, I usually have more time to think on the episode.
To digest it, but you just managed to.
But you just barely managed to see it, yeah. So it's still digesting in your head at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So I might have some more things to think about. Mention next time.
All
if
right.
we have time. Like
yeah, if you feel you need to, you can always retroactively change your score later.
Okay. Thomas?
Honestly, I really enjoyed this episode. Like, there are flaws here and there, but nothing like major really shot out at me and was like, okay, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure I've heard complaints that this isn't like, oh my god, the stakes are like the highest they could be or some shit. Like, this isn't Dr. Fall's levels of stuff. This isn't like Journey's End. This isn't fucking Parting of the Ways type stuff. And it's like, I wasn't really expecting that anyway, so I wasn't disappointed.
Doesn't really
that this
seems
wasn't
to be
like...
Chibnall's forte.
Like, you know, if this was like the only season we had Jodie for, or the only series we had Jodie for, and this was supposed to be the episode she was going out on, then I'd have problem. But since it's not,
this is her last episode. I have a lot of problems.
Yeah, since this isn't an Eccleston scenario, I'm actually expecting what I would figure is that the stakes would be higher in like the New Year's special, and that will be treated as like that kind of series finale kind of thing.
Provided
were
Chibnall can
expecting.
pull it off, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like this wrapped up the Tim Shaw stuff for now. Graham almost tried to say Ryan and Graham at the same time. Graham's arc is basically complete. So that was nice to get that wrapped up.
Brian or
yeah, like-
Ram?
I think I ended up almost saying like Ram or something like that, so I forgot the G for starters. Anyway, I honestly thought this was a good way to end the series, like a good episode to end it on. Even though, like, yeah, again, some people were expecting like insane, fucking way higher stakes than what we were given, but honestly, considering what's happened, at least we got closure. Like, closure on the Graham thing was about as much as I was hoping for. So the fact that there was follow through to that was like enough for me. And all the acting was great as far as I was concerned. So yeah, I got what I wanted out of this episode.
Okay. All right. So for me, this episode was refreshing, as I stated earlier, because it was a personal issue rather than a social issue, which did make it a little different than what we'd seen all season. And I like a variety.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't real world savvy, but because it was mostly a character development piece. That was the issue with the rest of the issue that Tim Shaw had done was kind of second banana too, but that's kind of the way Chibnall rolls apparently. The directing / film editing could have been a bit better.
Yeah, I think it's
Acting
mostly a
was-
problem of editing.
The film, the acting was fine. The script seemed to be largely okay, but I think there was a couple ways they could have done it better that would have increased that tension feel for it, that Earth was in danger, that kind of stuff. Like having watched them absorb another planet would have made it feel like the stakes were a bit higher. But that was their creative choice not to do something like that. Maybe for budget reasons, I don't know. It's a good episode, probably a great episode, but not a perfect episode. So let's go to the ratings books. Tim will be voting. Bill will not be voting. Okay. So, Matt, you are the first voter.
Oh, seems to be an average for me on this one for this particular season, 4.5.
4.5 from Matt. Tim.
For now, I will be safe and give this a 4.
A 4 from Tim. Thomas.
I'm going to agree with Matt, and I'm going to give this 5.
4.5 from Thomas. And I will agree with the majority of you and give it a 4.5. I think it is worth that much. I don't think it is worth any more or less. Which averages it out to a 4.4. Until we hear from Bill, should we ever hear from Bill.
We'll see.
The average, by the way, is 4.38, which does round up when we go to a single digit. That will put Ranskoor of Kolos at with a 4.3. We'll put it
48.
48 out of 273 things reviewed. It is on par with a bunch of things. Not a lot of things, but a bunch of things. The 11th Hour, Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, Partners in Crime, The Time Warrior, Face the Raven, Husbands of River Song, Sartaram Stratagem, The Poison Sky, Terror of the Zygons. It is better than The Three Doctors, Nightmare in Silver, The Ice Warriors, The Dalek Invasion of Earth, The Web of Fear, Spearhead from Space, The Witchfinders, Waters of Mars, Ark in Space, Demons of the Punjab, 10th Planet, etc., and is worse than Rosa, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, not sure I agree with that, The War Machines, The Invasion, The Rebos Operation, Thin Ice, World Enough in Time, The Doctor Falls, Enlightenment, New Earth, and yeah, there we go. 48 out of 273. That's all we have to say about the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. At least until we hear from Bill.
Until we hear from Bill, and then if Tim decides he wants to change the score at all. All right, so my turn then.
For closer, yeah, if you want the closer stuff.
Before taking us out. So, Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of an Unearthly podcast. If you'd like to find the VODs outside of Twitch, you can also find us on YouTube at Unearthly Podcast. You can find us post, at least when we're going to be doing live streams, on Twitch at Unearthly Podcast. You can also find the same on Twitter at Unearthly Pod, and on Facebook at Unearthly Podcast. And if you really like us a lot, and actually Twitch is where you can find us live, but if you really like us a lot and want to throw down a buck or two to how about the show at all, up to you. But you can also catch us on Patreon at Unearthly Podcast.
All right. So next week, Doctor Who is on break. So we are going to go back and review one of the classic episodes that I think is well liked by a lot of us. Although how much and how well will remain to be seen. We are going back to the Tom Baker era with Leela, and to the Sandcrawler, where we will face the Robots of Death. Written by Chris Boucher and starring Tom Baker as the Doctor and Louise Jameson as Leela. So we will see you next week for that.
All right. Good night.